Hello my cultists, my name is Mattias and welcome to a new episode of the Temple of Dolls. The only winter holiday doll I made on the channel was Lucia and is still probably one of my favorite videos of mine. I was thinking of having all of my winter holiday dolls in a theme. At first I thought maybe the theme was creatures from Nordic mythology, but I want to go one step above. For my December holiday videos, I will take time to share stuff from Swedish culture. They don't have to have their audience in Sweden. I just want to do something that is, for me at least, part of the culture. They will not all be Christmas related, but this year's doll will be. This year's doll will be something that is quintessential Swedish Christmas. A Swedish television tradition dating back to the 60s. Sveriges Televisions Julkalender, or translated Swedish Television's Adventkalender. But let's get to the character first. We will get into the history later, but let me introduce you to the concept. The Adventkalender is a TV show that airs every year between the 1st of December to Christmas Eve. There is a new concept with a new story every year. There have been a couple of reruns and even a sequel show, but most years there is something new. The character I will be making today came from the Adventkalender called Diselråttor, Sjömansmöss, or translated to Diselrats and Sailor Mice, that aired back in 2002. The show is about two siblings named Ophelia and Philemon on a cruise ship back to Sweden from America. One day the captain tells the siblings about the small creatures living in the machinery. They oversees the whole ship and make sure that the boats get to their destination, the titular Diselrats and Sailor Mice. Back in the children's cabin, the villain Lucky Closette and the henchman Don Karlskrona are scouting for food. Overhearing the siblings' conversation, Lucky misunderstands and think when they arrive in Sweden that they will become so cold that her heart will literally freeze to ice. After some hijinks, Lucky shrinks the children down with the help of a magical bottle cap and takes them down to the machinery. The rest of the series is about the children trying to become big again, while Lucky is trying to learn to read so she can stop the boat and turn it back to America. Så håll i er nu landkrabbor, då ger vi oss av. My first plan was to do something closer to artwork made by Parolin for Adventkalender, more rat-like. But I decided that I don't like how that was turning out, so I took an Abbey head and did something more like the show. I sculpted her some teeth and bigger ears. When that is dried, I can sand the sculpted parts. I brushed some super glue around the edges. Let's put the body aside for now and make a rat tail. I did follow Enchanterium's tail tutorial. I started by wrapping the wire with medical tape. Then I used fluff and yarn to build the shape. But instead of using yarn wefts, I used thin stripes of fabric that I wrapped around the shape. This doesn't make a realistic rat tail, it's more scaly in real life, but it works for a cartoon rat. I used fabric paint for a tail, so it will stay more flexible. In theory at least, it is not as flexible as the real life thing. The first color mix was too red, I changed it in the next layer. glued it on the doll's body with epoxy glue. Then I glued some brush yarn around the base of the tail. Now to the shoes. I had these Equestria Girl shoes that I thought would be fitting. Maybe now is a good time to mention that I took some liberties with the design. It's not 100% accurate. I used a base layer of black acrylic. Then I dry brush on brown paint. I painted the metallic parts with silver. For the shoelaces, I used a black Posca. Then I dry brushed the shoes again to age the metallic parts. For socks, I use a layer of white. I made one sock red and the other brown. Then one layer of matte varnish with a few layers of gloss varnish on the metallic parts. I made a simple red velvet dress for a top. I first checked the parts that will be sewn together but left the collar and the bottom alone. It wouldn't be too bad if they frayed just a little bit. For a skirt, I did something different. I crocheted the whole skirt. I didn't go after a pattern and just made the thing up as I went, but it worked for me, even if it was a little bit hard to see what I was doing sometimes. Now for a jacket. I use Barb's favorite jacket pattern. I love it when I don't have to craft my own patterns. I did something different and sewed the sleeve and the bodice wrong side together, so you will see the stitching. Lucky as we show stitching on a jacket, so I thought it would be a nice detail to add. I did the same with the collar. Also used what I believe is blanket stitch as a hem on the jacket. I snooped. I sewed the snap buttons as a closure. Then I sewed on a human-sized button as a decoration. I also made a hat, but I don't have much to say about its construction. I made a bag as well. Nothing fancy or professional, but it works for a doll. The straps are string that are braided together. Hooray for hoarding craft supplies! Hoarding has saved me again. This is the most accessorized doll I ever done, and we're not even done yet. But first, let's do the face up. The audience of the paper advent calendar comes from Germany, but we don't need to get into that history. The important thing to mention is that in 1957 someone got the idea to transfer it to radio. After that, Swedish television picks up the idea for TV. Radio and TV have even collaborated for some years with the same concept and characters, but we will only go over Swedish television's advent calendar. We also get physical paper calendars for both TV and radio. The first advent calendar aired 27th of November 1960 and was named Titteleture. In the early years, the advent calendar would air the first advent and not the 1st of December like it does now. This is why some early calendars only had 22 episodes instead of 24. The advent calendar has for longest time tried to appeal to both children and adults. The age group is every age, from someone who is 3 to someone that is 96. The game changer and the first calendar I want to talk about is Teskedsgumman. originally aired in '67, based on the books by the same name created by Alf Freysen. The calendar, like the book, is about this woman that unwillingly shrinks down to the size of a teaspoon, using early green screen technology for TV, which was impressive for times. This calendar is still to this day beloved and had a rerun in '76. We will now go to year 79 and look at the other calendar that had a rerun, Trolltider. A calendar that I myself is familiar with, even if it was a while since I watched the thing. We have an ensemble cast of characters, small trolls, fairies and witches, based much around the creatures from Nordic mythology. The thing that is fun with both Trolltider and Diselråttor is the sets and props, turning small household items into big props. We have had a lot of calendars based on already established characters, most of the time from books. Like Moomin in '73, Pelle Svanslös in '97, Lasse-Maja in 2006, and a personal favorite of mine, Sunes Jul in '91. Next we will jump to my birth year of '96. Frankly, one of the most popular calendars. It was so popular in fact that it got a sequel in 2012. Mysteriet på Greveholm. It's about the family Olssons moving out to a country for a holiday and accidentally moving to a castle of Greveholm. Unbeware of the haunting and involves many secrets. Even if the CGI effects they use are laughable by today's standards, back then it was impressive for Swedish television, and it took 30 computers just to render the thing. Maybe now it's good to mention that none of the calendars is available to watch in English, not even subtitled. Now, I want to take some time to talk about my favorite calendar. I wasn't even alive back when it originally aired, but it's still my favorite. I loved it as a kid, and found that I love it even more as an adult. Albert and Herbert's Julkalender from '82. Which was based on a TV series made by a comedy duo. It's about Albert Karlsson and his son Herbert Karlsson, living in the city of Gothenburg as scrap dealers, getting into wackish scenarios. The calendar's humor is very dry and has a lot of puns, which is why I love it. Albert can be infuriating and do annoy his son a lot. I actually can sympathize with Herbert as an adult. I understand why he gets so tired of his dad's BS all of the time. Like the time he stole a Christmas tree from somebody else's yard. But there is a charm to Albert. At the end of the day, you cannot hate him. So even if he gets tired of him, at the end of the day, Herbert still loves his father. While I call Lucky a villain at the beginning of the video, she's not evil per se. Not that she's good, but she does get her redemption and happy ending. So she's not unforgivable. Even if she should need to attend some sexual harassment classes. Shall we finish off the doll? Sorry for your background, but I use yarn for your hair. I glued hair directly on the face as well. Be careful not to use too much glue, but not too little. Now to a manual that Lucky steals early on in the series. This is the first time I made a doll book from scratch. Delightful has made an excellent tutorial for this, so I won't say much about the process. I've talked enough already and my voice is giving up on me. For drink umbrellas I used to get children down to machinery, I use the real life version of it. I just painted it black and glued it on the bag. For magical bottle cap, I use just that, a bottle cap. I hammered a split in the middle. Then I use sandpaper to rough up the surface. I use effect paint for a thing to become more rustic. And when we are on the topic of effect paint, to finish the doll we need to dirty her up, since she makes it a point several times that the children should dirty their hands before dinner. First I made it a point to rough up her jacket. I sanded this thing for hours to give it more of a rough surface to work with. Then I use different effect paints meant for model building. Shout out to my dad for giving me a whole box of these. This helped to put the doll on the edge, and with a few less details, the doll is done. This was a fun project, both the doll and the video, even if it was a chore to get through, and me being sick didn't help the whole thing. I have had plans for this project for years, so I am happy that I finally was able to get to it. But now I want some sleep. I wish you all a happy holiday, and I will see you guys on the other side. Bye!